Napoleon Bonaparte, commonly known as Napoleon, was a prominent military and political leader who rose to power during the late 18th and early 19th centuries. He was born on August 15, 1769, in Corsica, which was a French territory at the time. Napoleon's military career began during the French Revolution, where he rapidly advanced through the ranks. In 1799, he staged a coup d'état and became the first consul of France. He consolidated his power and eventually declared himself Emperor of the French. As Emperor, Napoleon implemented a series of political and administrative reforms, collectively known as the Napoleonic Code. This code standardized laws and promoted equality and meritocracy. He also introduced various social and economic reforms to stabilize France after the turbulent years of the Revolution. Napoleon's military campaigns were characterized by his strategic brilliance and the rapid expansion of the French Empire. He sought to spread revolutionary ideals and extend French influence across Europe. His conquests included victories in Italy, the Battle of Austerlitz against Austria and Russia, and the establishment of French client states across the continent. However, Napoleon's military ambitions eventually led to his downfall. His failed invasion of Russia in 1812 marked a turning point, followed by a series of military defeats in the War of the Sixth Coalition. In 1814, he was forced to abdicate and was exiled to the island of Elba. Napoleon's exile was short-lived, as he escaped Elba in 1815 and returned to France for a brief period known as the 100 Days. However, his final defeat came at the Battle of Waterloo in Belgium, where he was defeated by the British and Prussian forces. He was then exiled to the remote island of St. Helena, where he died on May 5, 1821, at the age of 51. Napoleon's impact on history is significant. His military tactics, administrative reforms, and legal code left a lasting legacy. The Napoleonic Wars and his political maneuvering reshaped the map of Europe and influenced the course of international relations for years to come. Napoleon's rise to power and his ambition to create a vast empire also had a profound impact on the consciousness of nations and the development of nationalism. Napoleon's rule had a profound and lasting impact on France. Here are some of the effects of Napoleon's rule on the country. One of Napoleon's significant achievements was the establishment of a strong centralized government in France. He reformed the administrative system, streamlining bureaucracy, and creating a more efficient governance structure. This centralization helped stabilize the country after the tumultuous years of the French Revolution. Napoleon introduced the Napoleonic Code, also known as the Civil Code of 1804. This legal framework codified laws and principles, providing a comprehensive and uniform set of laws for the entire country. The Napoleonic Code emphasized equality before the law, property rights, and religious tolerance. It greatly influenced legal systems around the world and remains an important legal legacy of Napoleon's rule. Napoleon implemented various economic reforms aimed at stimulating economic growth and stability. He introduced the Bank of France, which helped stabilize the currency and promote investment. Napoleon also initiated infrastructure projects, such as road and canal construction, to improve transportation and trade within the country. Napoleon believed in the importance of education and implemented reforms to improve the education system. He established secondary schools, known as lycées, to provide quality education to a wider population. Napoleon also promoted a merit-based system, where individuals were appointed to positions based on their abilities and qualifications rather than their social status. Napoleon introduced the concept of universal military conscription, creating a large and well-trained army. This not only provided France with a formidable military force, but also fostered a sense of national identity and loyalty among the population. Conscription became a defining feature of the modern French military. Expansion of French territory. Through his military conquests, Napoleon significantly expanded the territory of France. At its height, the French Empire under Napoleon's rule included not only France but also large parts of Europe, including the Netherlands, Belgium, Italy, and parts of Germany and Poland. Nationalism. Napoleon's reign and his vision of a French empire fueled the rise of nationalism in France. The idea of a unified French state and the spread of French values and institutions became central to the national identity. This sense of French nationalism would later influence political movements and shape the course of French history. While Napoleon's rule brought stability, reforms, and expansion to France, it also had its drawbacks. His wars and military campaigns resulted in significant loss of life and resources. The heavy taxation to fund these endeavors, along with his authoritarian rule, also led to discontent among certain segments of society. Nonetheless, Napoleon's influence on France and the world cannot be understated, and his legacy continues to be debated and studied to this day. Napoleon's downfall can be attributed to a combination of factors, including military defeats, strategic errors, and international opposition. Here are some key factors that led to Napoleon's ultimate downfall. Invasion of Russia. One of the critical turning points in Napoleon's downfall was his ill-fated invasion of Russia in 1812. Despite initial successes, the Russian campaign proved disastrous. The Russian army employed a scorched earth strategy, retreating deeper into the country while destroying resources and infrastructure. As winters set in, Napoleon's forces faced harsh conditions, lack of supplies, and constant Russian resistance, resulting in heavy casualties and ultimately forcing a retreat. Coalition wars. Napoleon's military campaigns and territorial ambitions had sparked resentment among other European powers. In response, several coalitions were formed against France, including the Sixth Coalition, which consisted of major powers such as Russia, Prussia, Austria, and Britain. These coalitions, combined with strategic mistakes made by Napoleon, resulted in a series of military defeats, including the Battle of Leipzig in 1813. Battle of Waterloo. The Battle of Waterloo, fought on June 18, 1815, was the decisive battle that sealed Napoleon's fate. In an attempt to regain power after his exile to Elba, Napoleon faced a coalition force led by the Duke of Wellington and Prussian Marshal Blücher. Despite putting up a fierce fight, Napoleon's forces were ultimately defeated. The defeat at Waterloo marked the end of his 100 days and led to his second abdication. Exile and second abdication. Following his defeat at Waterloo, Napoleon was again forced to abdicate, and this time he was exiled to the remote island of St. Helena in the South Atlantic. He spent the remaining years of his life in captivity, unable to influence events on the European stage. International opposition and balance of power. Napoleon's aggressive expansion and attempts to dominate Europe had created a sense of alarm among other European powers. They viewed him as a threat to the established balance of power and were determined to prevent his return to power. The international opposition against Napoleon, coupled with his military setbacks, weakened his position and contributed to his downfall. It is worth noting that while military defeats and strategic errors played a significant role in his downfall, Napoleon's rule had also faced challenges due to the economic strain caused by prolonged warfare and the imposition of high taxes. Additionally, his autocratic style of governance and suppression of political freedoms had led to opposition and discontent within France. The combination of military setbacks, international opposition, economic challenges, and internal discontent ultimately led to Napoleon's downfall and his final years in exile. Despite his defeat, Napoleon's impact on history and his legacy as a military and political leader continue to be widely studied and debated. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to comment which topics you want me to make a video on next.